We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, the podcast where we explore the art of songwriting, celebrate incredible artists, and dive deep into the stories behind the music. I'm your host, Simon Fink, and as always, thank you for joining us. For a week in May, we took the podcast to Los Angeles to record a special series of episodes with some incredible artists, and today's episode is one of those. Our guest today on the podcast is Los Angeles-based singer and songwriter Brandon. Born in Riverside, California, the multi-instrumentalist creates music that floats between alternative, R&B and modern folk, resulting in some of the most delicate and smooth sounds you're likely to hear this year. Critics and fans alike have drawn comparisons to artists like Dijon, Mk.Gee and Frank Ocean, and with the release of his entirely self-produced debut album, Before You Go, Brandon has firmly carved out a space of his own. It is a stunning collection of alt-R&B that unfolds slowly and rewards repeat listens, with intricate production details and emotional depth woven into every track. Now, while we were in LA, we had the pleasure of sitting down with Brandon to chat about Before You Go and the journey that brought these songs to life. We talk about how the record was created across different stages of his life, from his college dorm room to his family home and eventually his own studio. He also reflects on the formative role of music education and the importance of teachers who foster creativity, as well as his eclectic listening habits that span from Prince to Pearl Jam. Now, we want to say a massive thank you to Emma, Marcelo and Max for their help with today's episode. Brandon's debut album, Before You Go, is out right now via Secretly Canadian, and we have included links in the show notes where you can stream the album, grab tickets to his upcoming shows, and follow Brandon online. Now, while you're there, don't forget to follow us across our socials and subscribe to this very podcast. We've got more LA episodes coming your way across the next month, so subscribing ensures that you will not miss out. Now let's get into it. Here is our conversation with Brandon.
Wish we could talk more about baby Joan and what she looked like. Who she looked like. September ain't that far, is it? Can you hold me before?
Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Brandon. Brandon, hello, sir. How are we?
I'm good. I'm great, honestly. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us and have a chat today while we're here in LA. I very much appreciate it. I know that you're a California native.
Yes, California native. I'm born and raised in Riverside. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you again for coming to chat with us. I know that it's a very, very exciting time in your life because there's a brand new record out.
Yeah.
It's called Before You Go. Firstly, congratulations on this record.
Thank you.
How are you feeling with it now being out into the world?
It feels kind of weird, but like I feel good. I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just like thankful it's finally like out, and the job's not done, but I just to keep doing so much more stuff around it like this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, super thankful.
I absolutely love that. It is a gorgeous record. So firstly, you should be commended on that. It's something that I feel, well, I know like any musician, any artist, any songwriter, you usually have put blood, sweat and tears into this. It's your whole life. And I know that for yourself, this has been writing, I believe, performing everything and producing it all yourself as well.
Yeah.
We are going to get into the songwriting. We're going to get into all of that today. But I'm wondering whether we can kind of kick things off with, because sometimes I feel like the writing and the performing can be a certain kind of task, but production is its own different beast.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether you have like a favorite production moment from the record or like a favorite producer moment of yourself that you've got on this record.
Okay. Favorite production moment. I think they're all kind of scattered. I have favorite moments like in each song, I think. But I think in particular You. That's like I think number 9 on the album. I think specifically the way that I kind of like link the transition between September into that song, and then also, I don't know, just a lot of the choices I made were very unorthodox for, I don't know, just the stuff I've done in the past. So yeah, it was nice trying something new and like kind of just letting the song breathe. Like, yeah, that song specifically, to me, it has like its own life, its own like journey compared to the rest of the songs on the album. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love that. I think that from my understanding, you worked in your own studio in Costa. I want to make sure I get it right. Costa Mecca?
Costa Mesa.
Oh, Costa Mesa.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, most of it, it's like from, I'll like give the laydown. A lot of these songs started in my dorm room in college in Costa Mesa, like years ago, like 2018, 2019. And then from there to like my childhood home in Riverside to now finishing it all in my home studio. And yeah, it's been a long journey with that. So yeah, but yeah, Costa Mesa, Riverside, like Costa Mesa, Newport Beach area. Yeah, that's where, yeah.
I imagine that having a studio where you can go in and it's your own studio, it's your own kind of time, it allows you a bit more of a freedom to mess around with things and to kind of like really find different nuances in different sounds and textures and writing to make sure that you've got that balance of like the final product that you kind of want to put out.
Yeah. It's honestly awesome because like I like working with people, but I don't know, I'll have an idea and I'll just start working at the most random time. I don't know, like it's not always at crazy hours in the morning, but it's just, you know, if I'm out on a walk or something, or if I'm like just doing something random, I'm just like, oh man, like I need to go do this right now. I need to go like put this on paper, put it like, you know, record it or do something. And yeah, I feel like that was a lot of the process of the album. Mm-hmm. I think that like it kind of speaks for itself. I don't know. I feel like you can tell it was, I had the freedom that I was able to like flesh everything out. I don't like rushing at all, especially like music. Like I feel like music shouldn't be rushed. Yeah.
I think that is very, very fair. I think that you obviously want to make sure you're taking time and effort and care and love when you are kind of putting your all into everything. And I think that this record does very much reflect that. Yeah. I think that there's this beautiful kind of intimacy with this record where the production and the instrumentation is not fully across the whole record, but for a good part of it, it's like quite sparse, but it's used quite beautifully in a way.
Yeah.
And I think, if anything, I'm just complimenting. I don't think there's a question loaded in there. I think that was just kind of more of a compliment.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I am aware that you come from somewhat of a musical family, I believe, in terms of everyone musically inclined.
Yeah. My mom sings. My grandma, she sang like all the ton. My uncle can also sing. He's a DJ. Like I'd say like on my mom's side of the family, which like my mom raised me, it's all the artistic people. Everyone's very, very like, you know, in tune with that stuff. Like my little cousin, she's an amazing like painter, like sketch artist. Like she can do anything. And like I thought I was good when I was like younger, but like she's like surpassing me and all that stuff. And she's like learning the piano. She's in choir in high school. And then on my dad's side, it's all the like professors, like doctors, like, everybody's like, you know, engineers, like, like businessmen, women, like, you know, like super cool. So I get like the best of both worlds in a way.
I was going to say, it's quite a good mix of both your creative and your analytical. And I wonder whether with that kind of like family interaction of having different people involved in music at certain ages or whatever else, whether you remember your first interaction with music? So maybe not even just songwriting, but your first like remembering music, or I guess, interacting with it.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of like remembering music, one of my like, I don't know if this is like 100% like the story, but like one of my earliest memories is my mom. There's a couple, and they're both dealing with my mom. I think she was like leaving for a couple days, or like she was going to be gone for the night, because she was going to a show. I can't remember if she was going like with some of her friends or if like it was a date or something. But that show was Sade, when she was touring, like way back, like in like, I think early 2000s. I must have been like 4 or 5, I don't know, maybe 6 at the time, but like I just didn't want her to go, or I wanted to go with her. I can't remember. It was one of the two. And like ever since that, like Sade, like always just ingrained in my brain. And yeah, like I feel like she is like one of my earliest memories. Like and then the second would be again with my mom. I grew up watching my mom sing in a choir at the church I grew up at, and it was always so fun like watching her, because sometimes she would do big events. She wasn't a soloist or anything like that, but it was always it just made me so proud seeing her up there singing in the choir, and I wanted to do that. So I joined the kids choir at my church. So I don't know, I just wanted to copy everything my mom did, because I thought she was like super cool. I mean, she is super cool. Yeah. But yeah, those are like a couple of my earliest musical memories.
Well, firstly, shout out to your mum for obviously being a very like lovely influence on you both creatively, and I imagine just what sounds like a cool mum.
Yeah.
Do you remember how that evolved then into making your own music and like trying to compose or create or like make your own thing?
Yeah, definitely. So eventually I kind of just, I grew out of the choir. It was a kids choir at the church. So eventually I kind of just started on the computer, like, downloading like random music making programs. And like from there, I kind of just like started making like beats, like electronic music. Kind of just like trying stuff out and seeing what I can make, and I was having fun with it until like the computer we had, like it crashed, so like then I couldn't do that anymore. And that was, I'd say, like around the time when I was like 8th or 9th grade, so probably like I was like 13, 14. So that's when that happened. And then I mean, I did choir in high school for a little bit. I think 2 years probably, maybe 2.5, but I quit because the teacher was just like a mean guy. He was like really rude. So I left that. Kind of just, didn't want to deal with that stuff anymore. So I joined basically, he's kind of like, he was like my school dad. He's like one of my best friends in high school. His name was also Brandon, and his dad was a teacher. And I would always just like go in the classroom and hang out, and he was like, hey, like, do you want to just like be a TA for this class? Like, instead, it was the same period as the class I was like transferring. So did that. And then senior year, I had like a major, like it was like super easy for me to like transfer into that because I already had a background in it, but it was like a music production class, and I popped in there and I kind of just passed with flying colors. Like, I didn't really even need to do anything that the teacher was telling us to do because I already knew it. Just because, like, the stuff I was doing before, like with electronic music. And like, that was fun because that class allowed me to learn different instruments. So that's where I started playing the drums.
Sick.
Yeah. The whole period, like an hour, just like going crazy on like this drum kit in there, like, and I would play pretty loud sometimes on occasion. So like eventually I just had to switch to the electronic drum set that was in the classroom. But no, like those are, I feel like that period, like, very pivotal in like allowing me to kind of just make a transition. So yeah, shout out to Mr. Enyart, and then also Mr. Harberator, who was the one of the music teachers, but he passed away a few years ago. So, but yeah, he was like the best guy, like the most always like stewarding you to do whatever you wanted to do musically. And yeah, he wrote in my yearbook like, I'm a drummer now, like officially. Yeah, he was such a cool guy, amazing bassist. Yeah,
I think that's awesome though. I think there is it seems like such a silly thing to say, but because it's so obvious, but it is really true. Like myself, fellow choir boy in high school, but without like the direction or the support of like a good music educator,
exactly,
it can really either like just stop the not the process or not the career. What's the word I'm looking for? It can well, I guess could stop a career. It kind of prevents people from continuing to explore that path.
Exactly. Because like me, I mean, sure, I would have figured it out, but I always wanted to play the drums growing up, and I never had any access to a kit, you know, and him just like allowing me, him trusting me, like knowing I'm going to get like the actual classwork done, but like in class, just giving me the freedom to do whatever the heck I wanted to. You know, like we need more educators like that. Like you said, like, you know, that are just able to champion and like push kids to do what they want to do. Or, you know, create what they want to create. Like, you know, no boundaries, you know. You know, I like that. I like people that are able to just give like an ounce of direction, and then the kid opens up the whole world for themselves. Like that's how I felt. Like I had a few friends back in the day that would give me some pointers and tips, and then I just like, oh dude, like I figured out how to do this after you showed me how to do that and that and that, and he was just like, yep, knew you would. Yeah, so
I feel like
it's a whole rabbit hole, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's that thing of that if you can help support and push a little, that it will allow them to it's like the teaching a man to fish cliche. Like people will go and do that if they feel supported to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
Wondering whether you might indulge me slightly. There was a certain track on this record. As I've mentioned, the whole record is gorgeous. There's a certain track, however, that I found myself coming back to continuously, which was The Sun.
Okay.
Starts out vocals and guitar, and then what you've done has been done masterfully in this, in that it almost sounds like later on in the track, it kind of comes, I want to say it melts into this like beautiful, like light jazz kind of breakdown. And it's that point where, and I realize that saying melts in an audio term doesn't really make sense, but there's no better way to describe it in the way that it just kind of like slowly like finds its way into the track. Wondering whether you might be able to talk to us about the catalyst behind The Sun, or like what inspired that track.
Yeah. So yeah, that's so cool. I really thank you for that.
No, of course.
The catalyst behind that song, when we were on tour, maybe like it was summer of 2023, we did like an opening slot like for a month. It was like 21 shows in 30 days. Insane. But yeah, anyways, I started coming up with that, I think around that time, while we were on the road, because I would just, you know, sound checking, I would kind of just like start playing that lick, like or just, you know, the part that's the acoustic on the record. I just started playing that, and eventually it kind of just morphed into what it was. And I think the funny part about that song is it almost didn't make the record, because I had like 2 or 3 different versions, and I was just not having it. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. It wasn't, each recording just like sucked to me. Like I did one version, work on it for like a week, 2 weeks, hated it. Second version, same thing, just like boom, delete. And then like I was at like I think I was at like a New Year's party in 2023, and I was talking to one of my friends about it, and he was just like, yeah, man, like, don't kill yourself over it, but like, give yourself one more shot. And like, if you get it this time, then like, put it on there. And then like, so I just took so much time in between like that conversation, like living in the back of my head, and also like finally like working on the song itself. Because I wanted the next time I work on it, the next time I try to be the right one. So I kind of, I think summertime is when I did it. And then that was the version. That's what's on the record. So yeah, it feels like, you know, I kind of like fleshed out, you know, what I wanted. The song itself is kind of like a stream of consciousness, in terms of like what I'm speaking about. Like, you know, I think in terms of a lot of my music, it's about a lot of heartbreak, like resting in the unknown, a lot of very tragic, a lot of tragedy, a lot of like loss. And like, you know, in some songs, sure, there's like a lot of lovey-dovey stuff, in terms of like, you know, the first song on the album. So, you know, that I feel like in terms of dealing with a lot of loss and in terms of dealing with the things that I've been through, like the sun is coming, you know, sure, like you've dealt with a lot of this darkness, but like the sun is coming, love is coming, better things are coming. And like, I love like the sunset, but like there's something special about like the sun rising or getting up to watch it. You know, it's beautiful. Like just letting the sun hit you, letting the light feed you, feed your soul, feed your body. Like, you know, it's literally good for you. Like, you know, like proven scientifically. It's not just a hearsay. But yeah, I think that's the way I look at that song, and the way it kind of pushes and evolves throughout the recording itself is a journey. I'm a big crescendo person. I've come to like understand like just, you know, building and building and building into something bigger and bigger. And I think like, yeah, I did it. Like I made it how I wanted it to. And with that, I definitely had like some help with some friends, like, you know, my buddy Colin added sax, another buddy, Florian, he added sax and some keys. I think John played piano on that one as well. And then my friend Miley on violin. So yeah, that was like one of the most fun songs I've ever done. And I love how it just gets extremely chaotic at the end and like just loses everything, you know, like you're not really expecting that to happen, you know, it's just like a flurry at the end. Yeah.
It's beautifully done, as I said. It's just this kind of, I found myself coming back to it, and it was something that I found that sometimes when you put songs on repeat, or that you've got something that has hooked you in about a track, that it can become too much. But it, I think there's also a lightness to that song that is just, yeah, I don't know, something very magical about that track. So I'm super glad that you did persevere.
Yeah,
kind of push through that.
Me too.
That blockage or a wall, whatever it was that you kind of want to call it. Wondering whether there are some dates lined up to go on tour in support of the record.
Not at the moment, not that I can say, but soon. I just did the show, you know, the album release show on Thursday, this past Thursday, on the 8th. That was amazing. That was like the first time like playing any of the songs live. I mean, I've played a couple of them in the past over the years, just as little feelers to see how the crowd reacts. And it worked because like those songs made the album. So, but, and then I haven't announced it yet, but I'm doing a very small show in New York in a couple of weeks. Again, to like celebrate the album release. But yeah, I love touring. That's my favorite thing. Like, I feel like I thrive on stage, and I feel like that's where I'm at my best. And yeah, it just like speaks to me, like being on stage, like seeing the crowd. Like, I don't know. It doesn't even have to be my show. Like, I just love going to shows in general too, you know? So yeah.
I love that. I have heard some very, very good reviews from the Thursday show that you just mentioned. Awesome. We were meant to, I'm not going to disparage the Australian airline that I flew in to Los Angeles with, but we were meant to be at the showcase, and because they were about 4 hours late, we in turn missed it. I think we got in, and then by the time we caught an Uber, we would have been there for like the last 20 minutes, which I feel. Anyway, but super glad to hear that there are some kind of things in the works.
Yeah.
I know we touched on it a little bit before, so no tour dates kind of set in. Maybe next year, maybe at some point we can also put it into the universe, manifest you coming to Australia to play some shows.
Yeah, I want to go to Australia so bad, dude. Like, yeah, I love Australia. I think it's more so just like I mentioned, like before we hopped on here. Yeah, I have a handful of friends that are Australian, and like those people are very special to me. So I don't know, experiencing where they're from, and I guess just the things and the places that they talk about. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Look, fingers crossed that we can somehow make that happen. And even by just discussing it, we'll hopefully someone in management, the people that connected us today, will hear this. And
yeah, I hope so.
Try to link out.
Yeah, like Australia and Southeast Asia, like kind of, yeah, Australia, Southeast Asia, and Asia itself. Like, those are like most of where my listeners are. Like, yeah,
I did kind of see that.
Yeah,
like on when you have a look on Spotify and like top listen cities. So I think that there's something going on there that's obviously resonating. But yeah. So, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We'll see. Gotta make it happen. Let's pray.
Brandon, we usually ask our guests to kind of wrap things up, what they're currently listening to for yourself.
Okay.
Anything that's on high rotation at the moment.
Just new, or like in general, what I'm always listening to?
Whatever, like up to you, or both.
Okay.
Recommendations.
I'm always listening to something Prince related, or just Prince himself in general. Right now, it's a lot of Love Sexy, and I think it's The Gold Experience. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like a huge Prince fan. Always have Prince in rotation. I always have D'Angelo in rotation. Like, as I walked in here, I was playing Black Messiah. What else do I love? My buddy Luke Titus, he just dropped his new album. That thing is amazing. It's a masterwork. Anastasia's about to drop her new album. Heard the singles have been dope. I heard the whole album like months ago. It's a smash. Like, it's so beautiful. What else? Leia Sen. She's one of my good friends. She's the sister of my buddy Florian that played sax and keys and stuff all over the album. Yeah, she's like, I don't even know. She's like magical. Like, I don't know, if Joni Mitchell and like Lenny Kravitz and like Cleo Sol had like a baby, like, it's perfect. Like, I don't know, her voice is perfect, the sounds they make are perfect. Like, yeah, high praise over there.
That sounds super fascinating.
Yeah. And then, man, let me give a couple more. Emmanuel Wilkins. I love him. He's like one of my favorite sax players out right now. Always have Pat Metheny on rotation as well. And then odd one out, Pearl Jam. Like, I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan. Yeah. Back in high school, like, one of my homies, like, he got me into Pearl Jam. Like, my friend that honestly, like, got me into playing the guitar. Like, we used to just sit in his crib and watch like 90s videos of like old performances at like Glastonbury, and like it's like watching Pearl Jam and like Biffy Clyro, and like like we were like 16-year-olds and like 55-year-old man body.
Look, nothing wrong with that. Eclectic music tastes are good.
Yeah.
Are you seeing them while they're on tour this year?
Pearl Jam?
Yeah.
No, but I saw them like a couple of years ago when I was on tour. But like if they come to California, definitely. I know Eddie does that Ohana Fest, and they played last summer, and I saw that both nights in a row, and I was like the happiest kid on the planet. But they're not playing this time. It's just Eddie, which is still great. Yeah. One of the greatest songwriters to ever live, Eddie Vedder.
Well, I think somehow he always not gets forgotten, but I think he kind of like, people tend to list off like some of the top songwriters, and Eddie Vedder just slips to mind.
Yeah,
like,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like that man's like, I can't express enough like how thankful I am. Like one, for him, but also two, like his love for The Who, which also like pushed me into listening to The Who and listening to like Quadrophenia, like who he says like that album is like the album for him that like got him into like writing and making music. And like listening to Quadrophenia, watching the film, it's like, I don't know, like nobody's doing that stuff that day. Like these days, like I see artists try to make movies to pair with like their album, and they're easily like they just become like very abstract. But like Quadrophenia has like this story, it feels like I'm there watching it, even though that shit was in like 60s or 70s, I can't remember. But like legendary. And then also always on rotation, Joni Mitchell. Let me double check. I want to make sure like there's anything. I might be butchering her name, but Erica DeCassier. Yeah, her new album is awesome. Yeah. Oh, how am I forgetting this? The new Quickly album. Do you know him?
No, I don't.
He's amazing. This artist based in Portland. I met him through my buddy Omari, who like they're roommates. That album's like extremely special. I don't know how I forgot about that one, because I listen to songs from it almost every day. There's a couple songs specifically. Take It From Me and Anything. Those are my jam. Like extremely special. And the new Bon Iver album. Yeah.
Fantastic album from Justin Vernon, but quite a few different recommendations, so I'm excited to kind of go through that list. And
I could go on and on, dude. Like I have so much, like I listen to so much music. I don't know, I feel like another big part of it, like in order to create the music I make, I have to listen to so much music and study so much music. So like a lot went into this album. So yeah, it's good to see like people are resonating with it. Yeah,
100%.
I'm glad you like it. Like, yeah.
No, I very much appreciate you coming to chat with us about it, because I think it is a really, really special album. I think people really like this album. So, Brandon, thank you very much for coming to chat to us about the brand new record from yourself. It's called Before You Go. We'll make sure there are links in today's podcast show notes for people to purchase it, follow you, all the fun stuff. But thank you so much again for coming to chat to us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.